It's Justice with Jordan Simone.
Welcome back to Justice with Jordan Simone, a show that talks about everything social justice from race to gender to ableism and everything in between. I am your most gracious and grateful host, Jordan Simone, and I am so excited to be in this space with you today. First things first, happy Women's History Month. I know Black History Month was last month. If you didn't know, Women's History Month is this month. So it is a great time to be a Black woman, at least, hypothetically speaking. That aside, today on Justice with Jordan Simone, we are going to talk about cultural appropriation. I am sure it is something you've probably heard of, usually more around Halloween time. People are talking about my culture is not a costume, XYZ, don't dress up like this and that. And then we tend to forget about it the rest of the year. But cultural appropriation is one of those things that can sneak back up on us, comes around again and again and again, especially here on the internet, dealing with internet trends. Finding out where the barriers are is usually a difficult thing to do. And if you're unfamiliar with what cultural appropriation is or how you can avoid it, that is what we're going to cover here today. So first things first, we have to understand what is cultural appropriation. I know it's probably like a little buzz term, but it does have a real definition. The real definition, according to a simple Google search, is the inappropriate or unacknowledged elements of a culture being used by somebody outside of that culture who's not, within that in crowd. Long story short, it is taking something that you either don't understand or have no business doing and then going ahead and doing it anyway. It's really disrespectful. Usually really problematic. There's not a whole bunch of ways to get around that kind of boundary. If a group of people says, no, this thing is off limits, or no, this thing is not designed to be shared in this way, the best thing to do is respect that. You can call it honoring if you want to, but it's really not honoring if you're just overriding someone's boundaries. Ooh, lost an earring. Happens to the best of us. So picture this in terms of an analogy for cultural appropriation. Let's say you're wearing a t-shirt and you love your t-shirt. It's your favorite t-shirt in the whole wide world. Let's say it's a black t-shirt, hypothetically speaking. And let's say your great grandma had this shirt. Long ago, she showed up in the United States specifically, for example, wearing this t-shirt, and she gets here and all of a sudden she gets jumped, like on site. She just gets jumped, beaten up. It's awful. She gets the shirt taken from her. She's dressed up into somebody else's shirt. It's really like jarring and disorienting. They throw the shirt at her, but she's not allowed to put the shirt back on. The shirt is gone. The shirt off her body. She's now wearing something else. She teaches, your great grandmother, you got to wear this other shirt, but here is like our family shirt. This is my shirt. I want you to have it. You really shouldn't be wearing this shirt because I got jumped. I don't want you to get jumped. However, I do want you to have this. It's a part of our history. It's a part of our heritage. We love our black shirt. Maybe it's got, maybe it's like mine, has little space things on it. Maybe they don't like space. Maybe they're more of an oceans person. You're wearing an oceans t-shirt. You're inherited a space t-shirt. All right. So your great grandma then gets the black t-shirt, wearing the white one. And somewhere along the way, it occurs to them that maybe they can wear their white shirt. Maybe they won't get jumped anymore. Maybe enough things have changed that they're not going to get that shirt taken from them, or at least they won't get, jumped for it. So your great grandma, maybe she put the black shirt on, carries the white shirt around, tries to give the white shirt back, got to keep the white shirt just in case she needs to change, just in case she needs to put that white shirt back on. So she's bopping around, she's wearing her black shirt. All of a sudden, boo, tomatoes, throwing tomatoes. And every time she wears that shirt, she's not getting physically harmed, but it's not a positive experience. She can't just wear her shirt in peace. She is often told she needs to put the white shirt back on. Sometimes for safety, she puts the white shirt back on and then puts on the black shirt. Black shirt is now covered in tomato stains from all the tomatoes that people are throwing at her. But she wears the shirt anyway. She's doing her best. She wears the t-shirt. Eventually, you get the t-shirt. It is, stained with tomatoes. It's a little tattered and torn. It's been a part of a couple of street fights. But it is the family shirt. It is your family shirt. You wear that shirt with pride. You wear that shirt with joy. It is your shirt. And you're proud that this has been in your family for so long. The white shirt in your back pocket, just in case you got to change. But it's a lot less likely that you have to. Although there are definitely still moments where you do. Okay. One day, you're bebopping down the street. Maybe you're wearing your black shirt, maybe you're wearing the white shirt, whatever, whatever. You turn to your right and you see someone wearing your black t-shirt, exact replica of your t-shirt, except they've cut it into a crop top. Nothing wrong with crop tops. That's all cool and everything. That's not how your shirt was designed to be worn. You know how your shirt's supposed to be worn, and that is not it. Additionally, if you can't wear your shirt in peace, why do you see someone with your shirt on? So you say to them, hey, where did you get that shirt? This shirt that looks just like mine. Oh, I made it up. No, you didn't. Where did you get that shirt from again? You ask. Oh, I thought it was cool, so I wanted to wear it. So I went out and made my own. Okay, well, fun fact, that shirt you're wearing, you got it from me. That's my shirt. As you can see, we're matching, but not really. I don't want you to wear this shirt. This shirt has a lot of significance to me. This shirt has a lot of value. I'm not really sure where you heard about this shirt from, but it's not really for like group effort. So if you don't mind like changing and never putting it back on again, you might feel like, or that other person might feel like, who is this random person telling me what I can and cannot do, ABC, XYZ. But at the end of the day, that other person does not know or understand the struggles of that shirt. That other person does not know what that shirt has been through, why that shirt has value. A quick Google search might have told them those things, but the person didn't do it, felt entitled to it, and now they're wearing the shirt. And now you're telling them, hey, please change. And they're sitting there, they're crying over a shirt, embarrassing you, making you feel bad. And now everybody in a 10-mile vicinity is yelling at you for not letting them wear the shirt. When you used to get jumped for that shirt, you have generations of people in your life who were bullied for that shirt, who were harassed for that shirt. You're still facing some of those consequences over that shirt. Maybe it seems little because it's just a shirt, but to you, it's not. And they have no business wearing it if they can't understand that. That, essentially, is cultural appropriation. It's really watered down. We're going to get into some more of the nitty-gritty of it all, but that is the gist of cultural appropriation. There's a shirt in your family, somebody stole it, you earned it back, you got bullied for having it back, and then you turn to your left and somebody else is wearing it and wearing it wrong and claiming it as their own. You wouldn't like that, most likely. And that's the gist of cultural appropriation, but on a much bigger scale. A few counter arguments I've definitely heard over the course of my cultural appropriation life is, well, I didn't jump you. Well, I didn't bully you. Well, I didn't hurt you. I didn't take the shirt. So why can't I wear it? You didn't have to. It's not up to you to decide when or how there is grief, when or how communities heal. You don't get to decide when I decide I want to share my shirt. Right now, I barely have the rights to my shirt. And to see you wearing my shirt without the stains, without the rips, without any of the ridicule or harm or hurt, even praise sometimes for wearing my shirt, yeah, it's really going to hurt my feelings. And maybe I don't want to share. Maybe I want to wear my shirt too without any of the baggage and damages. Maybe I want my shirt to look like yours because it's mine and my things should be safe and protected. And they aren't. We're going to leave the shirt analogy alone now. But you can't just pick up things that, not you, but like the general you, can't just pick up different traits and aspects of people's identities and put them on and take them off because they look cute or it seems pretty or it seems, ethnic and different and you're so, exotic or whatever it is. That's not fair to those communities. And it's not really fair to you because you're not understanding the whole knowledge base in which that shirt exists. You're not understanding the whole culture in which that existed, unless you probably wouldn't wear that shirt. Like if you knew what it meant, you probably wouldn't wear it. That being said, a lot of people then ask, okay, well, I don't understand cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. And that's completely fair. A lot of people get lost along the way. They want to appreciate other people's cultures. We live in a global age. We live in a time where it is exponentially easier to just book a flight, fly across the world, experience somebody else's culture. If you live in the United States, especially, walk down the street, drive around the corner, experience other people's cultures and identities. You go to lunch, everybody's eating different types of lunches. We got a billion types of restaurants. It is a cultural and global age And a lot of us want to learn how we can appreciate cultures without appropriating them. How do we respect these cultures? The first thing that you do is a touch of research, maybe, and then just respect the boundaries that have been put forward. As an individual, if I'm like, hey friend, don't wear my like don't take my shirt. You of course would be like, yeah, I'm not going to take your shirt. You've got it on. I wouldn't rob you. Why would I do that? That's not my character. When a culture says, hey, don't take my shirt, the pushback is not, oh, but I like it. Why can't I have one? The pushback is the same boundary that's already been established. If you can't have that, especially for whatever reason it is, because it's usually a good reason. People like to share. If there's a reason that that shirt, that earring, that hairstyle, that look is not for you, it's not for group consumption, the best thing you can do to appreciate a culture is to leave it alone, at least until you understand the context and the nuances it can exist in. So here's one of my favorite examples that happens to myself. Not me as somebody who has being appropriated, but as somebody who could have done the appropriating. So I'm really into Indian culture. I went to India abroad. I'm one of those people, when I went abroad, but I actually spent a month in India a couple of years ago. It was super great. At the end of the month, we had this super big dinner, and I wanted to wear a sari. I just think they're so pretty. I was so excited. I wanted to wear a sari. In the context of India, where I was, where other Indian people were wearing saris, where that was like the kind of the dress that you wore, that was just the thing. Everybody was safe and accepted and loved. Absolutely. I was super encouraged to go out, buy a sari, look great, have fun. I did. Great time. 10 out of 10. Took my sari back to United States, and I wanted to wear it to a dance. And then I thought about it. I thought about how my cultural context has now shifted. When I was in India, wearing a sari was appreciating Indian culture. In the United States, where I know Indian people are still bullied for wearing saris, where I know that Indian people are weirdly like fetishized for wearing them, when I know that there's all this struggle centered in the United States, I decided it was in the best interest to respect the culture that I love, not to wear it. Just don't do it. So I have it. I love it. I hold it. I cherish it. If the time comes, I have an Indian friend who might get married someday. Pair's still homie. And if she's like, that's the dress, please wear it. Maybe I'll wear it then. But as it stands, the boundary is there to not do that. That's how you appreciate. Of course, there are some things that are just general things to appreciate. Food is usually a green light. Don't, break it and change it and make it something new and then wonder why nobody likes it. Like, don't put raisins in the mac and cheese. Like, why would you change that? Number one, why would you do that? Number two, why would you do that? But like on a cultural sense. So food is usually a green light. Understand where it comes from, understand people's unique experiences with food. A lot of people, especially people of color, growing up, taking their different, cultural lunches to school and then getting bullied for it, they might not want to share that experience with you, but usually with conversation and understanding and real appreciation, food is a good way to go. Music, also usually a good way to go. It's really hard to gatekeep music, and realistically, you shouldn't gatekeep music. Anybody should be able to experience and listen to music. That being said, as you've probably seen on TikTok, if you hang out on TikTok, which, check me out on TikTok, it's kind of hard. Sometimes you have to understand where music is, how music breaks down, the uses for music as well. So like on TikTok, there are different audios that you can use where maybe it's the song from Harriet. That's a song about, standing up against slavery. That song was used then to talk about sexual assault, which is important, but you took the song out of the important context that it exists in. There's a song by Childish Gambino, I think, about, appreciating a girl with her natural hair and all of her kinks and curls. And that song was used to appreciate white natural bodies. And that's not the intent of the song. So just understanding that there's context to everything, there's nuance to everything, but music and food are usually a green light. So we're going to get into some more modern day examples right after this commercial break, because we got bills to pay here. So enjoy this commercial. And then we're going to talk about... Alrighty. So some more modern day examples of cultural appropriation versus appreciation. A good one would be, headdresses at Coachella. We've probably gone through this, like a billion times, but Indian or Native American dress, indigenous headdresses, they're just not for most people's use. They're incredibly sacred. They're incredibly important. There are different gendered elements that we just don't understand because we're not in that in-group community. So we just shouldn't wear them. And every time I see them, I cringe. It's like, where have you been? We've been having this cultural appropriation conversation for years. And yet here you go. There are nuances to it. There are layers to that one. So just, that's a hard no. Just don't wear an indigenous headdress under any circumstances. It's there's like a 99% chance you should not be doing it. In a different vein, but a similar execution, hair on Black people. And this is something we're going to get into, on later episodes. But hair on Black people is something that's incredibly important, not because we're trying to gatekeep hair necessarily, but because of the nuances that go into it. Not every hairstyle is meant for every hair texture, and not every hairstyle has meaning or no meaning. The best example I can think of is when Kim K got her little like boxer braids, and she called them boxer braids. And we all looked at them really, really hard. Those were cornrows. We've been had cornrows. Cornrows have existed for a long time. But what she did was wear cornrows, which are not super great for people who have finer hair, not great for your hair. But she wore these cornrows, renamed it, and then took the credit like she made something new. And it wasn't until there was a lot of backlash where we once again had to have this cultural appropriation conversation where we were confronted with, or she was confronted with, taking credit for something that isn't hers after existing in a sphere that is not hers to exist. On a similar note, y'all, your proximity to people of color does not make you a person of color. Feels pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of, white folk feel entitled to different aspects of cultures just because they know those cultures, they know people in those cultures. And just because you're close to them doesn't mean that it makes you a part of it. And hair is one of those things, you can be as close to Black folk as you want to. It does not mean that every hairstyle is for you. It does not mean that everything is for you. We're going to do one more commercial break, and then we're going to get to my final thoughts and our mental health minute. So stay tuned.
Drum Man he go, I just thought he made the whole show,
This is the snapback. That snapback is real. It's real. But what is a good age to have a baby?
You had a what? A what? You had the whole world, friend.
Let's eat.
I forgot what they said. That's why I didn't say
Yeah.
I always say, this hurts me more than it's hurting you.
Any of y'all want a piece before I touch one? Nah, I'm good.
All right. Enjoy your pizza, Keisha.
All right, and we are back. Just want to give you all my final thoughts, just the summary, the gist of what we talked about today. The biggest takeaway about cultural appropriation, especially versus appreciation, is to just listen to the community that you want to be a part of, that you want to partake in, and then move accordingly. Boundaries exist for a reason. Some gates are meant to be kept, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that we don't love you, don't want you to be a part of it. Just some boundaries shouldn't be crossed. And the best thing you can do is do a little bit of research, just ask, and then move accordingly. Use your best judgment. And worst case scenario, just put yourself in someone else's shoes realistically. Not, of course I want to share. I always want to share realistically. With the knowledge you have now after doing research, is that something you would still feel, and move accordingly. That's it on cultural appropriation versus appreciation. Now for our mental health minute, I still want you all to remember to take care of yourselves. Remember, your mental well-being is just as important as your physical well-being. And so this week for our mental health minute, I want you to do something social. Your social well-being is just as important as everything else, because at the end of the day, humans are social creatures. So this week, I want you to do something interactive with another person. It can be, scheduling lunch with a friend you haven't seen in a while. If you don't feel comfortable going out in the pandemic because Miss Rona is still out there, schedule a phone call with a friend, text somebody you haven't texted in a while, and just do a little bit of checkup, write a letter to your mom, whatever it is, just do something a little social, even if it's just a paying it forward in a coffee shop. Just get some human interaction, and it's good for the soul. And that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for learning and growing with me, and I will see you all again soon.